Good day everybody, it's Oga here, the unknown, and today I want us to look at something very important. I want us to look at some beautiful trades that happened yesterday. I believe you all got them because they always play out as we have discussed. However, the main important thing is to only trade when you have an opportunity, because mostly people trade when they don't have an opportunity and they think like the strategy is not working. If you are still struggling with being patient, please go back and backtest. Okay, I have linked free backtesting tools in my description. Just get one and do your backtesting until you fully understand what we talk about. Okay, so guys, without any further ado, you already know that we have strict criteria and only trade when these criteria are met. Okay, because it's important. If you don't have an opportunity, there's nothing for you to do. Okay, so the first criteria is to identify trade volume before the session. Some days you won't be able to identify this, mostly when the session opens and you are in the middle. Okay, we'll talk about this when we go to our charts. And then the second thing is to wait for the session to open. We trade the New York session. Okay, we wait for the session to open. If we don't have news, we are ready to go to the next criteria or to the next step. However, if we have news during the session, it is important to wait for the news to trade. Okay, because you can't predict results from surveys, so it's always important to wait for the news to actually trade. And then guys, we go to the third criteria, which is important. You need to have a chart pattern. Okay, you need to have the chart pattern, and I've told you already that 90% of my executions are based on triangles. Okay, it could be a right angle triangle, or it could be a symmetrical triangle, but my executions are based on triangles. Okay, and most importantly, when it comes to a triangle, I don't love a triangle that is like this. Okay, that is like this, like it's just sloping down like this. No, a triangle, they must play inside. Okay, they must trap. Okay, and then once we got this criteria met, we wait for the evidence candle. The evidence candle is the big breakout candle that breaks out of the pattern. Say for instance, this is our triangle and prices have been doing like this, and then they break to the downside. This must be the biggest candle. Okay, this must be the biggest candle compared to all the candles from the last touch to where it broke out. So the breakout candle must be the biggest candle. This is important because it shows that they have shifted the zones. Okay, we are not just waiting for any breakout candle, we are waiting for a breakout candle at the correct time. This is important. Okay, this is important, at the right time, not any breakout candle, at the right time. If you look here, I have this watch drawn out here. It's not beautiful, but I've put the most important things. If you look here, this is the half-hour mark, this is the o'clock mark. We need evidence candles that break out as close as possible to the hourly mark, or as close as possible to the half-hour mark. Okay, as you can see, I have green and gold. If I get the evidence candle from 25 to 35, this is during the golden time. So anything from 25 to 35, that's the best time to take your execution. Okay, that's why I colored this one with gold. These are golden times. However, from 20 past to 22, you can see I put green. So if you get an evidence candle during this time, say maybe 21 past up to 22, yes, it's still acceptable to take it, provided all these criteria are met. Sometimes you won't be able to see trade volume before the session, so you can continue. Okay, but you need to wait for the session to open, or if there's news, you need to wait. Again, you need to have a chart pattern, which is good. We'll discuss more about this in a minute. Okay, and then you need an evidence candle. So if they give you an evidence candle from 20 past, you can still take it. It's okay. Okay, the same applies to when it comes to the hourly mark. Okay, the o'clock. If I get an evidence candle between 55 to 5 past, that is the golden time. That's a very beautiful execution. Okay, but still, even if it happens anytime between 50 to 10 past, it's still acceptable. That is to say, if I get an evidence candle most likely at 11 past, I'm not taking it. 12 past, I'm not taking it. Quarter past, it must be so perfect, but I don't take this ones. Okay, unless it's too perfect. Okay, for now, since you're still learning, you can avoid these times. Only focus on evidence candles that are given as close as possible to half-hour mark or the o'clock mark. Okay, this is half past, this is o'clock. Okay, and most of the time they are gonna give evidence candles during this time. Okay, so I believe now you understand. Let's go to the charts. I want to show you something very, very crucial. Okay, this is how I look at my charts every day. Okay, I look at them at the same time because they are not all gonna give the same opportunity. Okay, sometimes they'll all give the same opportunity, but the most important thing I want to see is I want to get the most easiest executions out of this. Okay, I want the easiest execution. Okay, so guys, look at this. Okay, I've just zoomed the entire day. You see they just collapsed, and this is where they came and bounced here and they pulled back. Okay, important. Okay, so we can't identify trend volume because we're only coming to our charts 5 to 10 minutes before the New York opens. Okay, so we are coming maybe somewhere here, and that's when we are trying to identify or to do our analysis, provided there is no news. Like yesterday we didn't have major red news. Okay, so you see they collapsed and we are in the middle. These guys could be trapped, or the guys up here could be trapped. When I say trend volume, I'm actually mean who is at a loss at this point here. When we are coming to our charts at this time, who is at a loss? Obviously, if people bought here, they are at huge losses here. Again, those who sold here are still at huge losses. So we can't tell who is actually trapped because we are in the middle. Okay, same applies to this one, same applies to this one. Okay, so now we go to the next step. Okay, in my recent videos, I actually gave examples where we did have a lot of trap volume. So now, since we were unable to do this, this is the only criteria we are able to continue without. I repeat, this is the only criteria we are able to continue without. Okay, so now we have to wait for the session to open. Okay, and if you look at these charts here, they are highlighted by an iSession indicator. You can just download it anywhere. Just go to Google, search iSession. Even in my link in the description, I have it. It's a free indicator. You just install it and you set the times correctly. Okay, this is the New York session. Okay, this is where it's opening. So we wait for the session to open. And one thing that's important is we are not just gonna take any execution. Okay, we don't take the first candle. Okay, because most likely it's gonna be a stop hunt and it's gonna be the most biggest candle. Why? Because that's when the session is opening and there is a lot of orders that people have placed. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of orders and prices are gonna move heavily, so we don't fall for that. Okay, so now the session opens. When the session opens, we go to the next step. Okay, we go to the next step. Okay, so the next step is to find a chart pattern. Okay, I have a lot of chart patterns that I've shared with you. Okay, okay, this is the playbook that I wrote, okay, where I summarized everything. Okay, so we have a lot of patterns. If you look into this playbook, I have given you a lot of chart patterns. I've given you a lot of trends. There's a lot of things here. Okay, so there's a lot of chart patterns here, but there's something important that happened that I want to share with you. Very, very important. As you see here, we have different kinds of trends. Okay, we have different kind of trends, and we are actually doing our analysis and trading on a 1 minute time frame. So it's important to pay attention to what type of trend you have, and I've been saying this for the longest time. Sometimes they won't show you the trend for some time, but the day they show you, you must know you're gonna get the most easiest trade. So yesterday gave the most easiest trade I believe all of you were supposed to get. Okay, look at this. If you read here, in this creeping trend, prices initially drop sharply. You see, I also gave a drawing. Prices explode downwards. Prices initially drop sharply. Then, okay, let me use this. So in this one, prices drop sharply. Okay, then there's a brief creeping. Then there is a brief creeping. Then they start creeping. However, there's something important to notice here. Okay, something important to notice because it happened yesterday, and whenever these things happen, they are gonna give you the most easiest trade. Look at this. First step is they creep. Second step, they explode. That's the first step. Second step is they creep. You see, creeping. You can draw a trend line. Okay, it's creeping. Okay, the most important thing is they don't take out the high they made before the explosion. That's important. Okay, and then another thing is the time taken here. must be longer than the time taken here. So they drop quickly, they drop sharply, fast, and the creeping takes more time than it took for this collapse. That's why you can see this one just exploded, but here there's just a lot of higher highs and stuff. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, they don't take out this high, and secondly, they take more time on the creeping than they did on the drop. Okay, so I hope you get that. Okay, just remember, if there's a big drop in price followed by a creeping trend, it usually means prices will keep falling. You see, most of the time, yes, this is what happens. Okay, if prices fall, then they creep, and that simply means prices are most likely gonna keep falling. It's not always gonna happen, but 90% of the time it's gonna happen like this. These kinds of trades are some of the simplest you'll come across, and this is something I really meant. Okay, they are the most simplest you'll ever come across. Don't forget these criteria, and now this is on the playbook that all of you have. Okay, I told you, master these trends, because when they happen, they are gonna give you the simplest execution. Okay, so now let's go back to what we are going back to the charts. Okay, so I told you I'll be looking at this thing simultaneously to see which one gives the easiest. Look at this S&P, they drop. Okay, they drop. Okay, we can look at the time they took here to drop. This is 467 candles. Okay, fine. And then what do? They creep. Let's check the time they took to creep. This is 400 candles. Okay, 400 candles. Okay, let's go now to Nasdaq. On this one thing you'll realize is from the drop, wait a minute, the sharp drop actually happened somewhere here. Okay, this is where the sharp drop happened. Okay, yes, but it's okay, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So this is 280. Again, they took a lot of time here. Okay, this one, yes, again they gave something, but this one wasn't so perfect because they broke out early. We are looking for something that is too perfect. Okay, so look at the NAS here. I want to show you something very interesting. You see, they creep. Yes, they break with pins, it's still okay. However, let's look at how much time they took. They took roughly 286 minutes. Okay, 286 minutes, and then from here all the way to the creeping they took roughly 500 minutes. Okay, because these are 1 minute candle and we have roughly 500 bars. Okay, we can even bring it here. So this one took longer. This one qualifies more than this one, because on this one, yes, it's doubtful of where did they spend most of the time. Okay, so this one you can see the drop was sharp, very quick, and then the creeping took a long time. As you can see, you can simply see a drop, collapse, and then we get what? Creeping, which took a lot of time. What does this tell you? It's all in the playbook that you all have. Listen, if there's a big drop in prices followed by a creeping trend, it usually means prices will keep falling. These kind of trades are some of the simplest you'll ever come across. You see, already you had an idea of what's happening. You had an idea from the creeping trend. They are not always going to give you these types of trends, but I have a lot of creeping trends. This is an example where they are going up. They creep. Yes, they are gonna continue. They're gonna continue up. Okay, so you had an idea when you came to the session. So when this session was building out, it gave an idea of what to anticipate. Okay, now as we are looking, this one wasn't that perfect. Okay, fine. Now this one for me was way too perfect, so I'm gonna bring this chart up. Okay, so since we can see that this one took more time, okay, this one took more time, and again, for the fact that they dropped and they started creeping, you can see this is just creeping, okay. You can see that this was So this was exactly what is in your playbook. So guys, you had an idea of what was going to happen. So that's why I'm saying I believe you got this. Now let's go back to the criterias. Okay, let's go back to the criterias, because still if they're going to go down, they need to give you an opportunity. Because just because they are collapsed, which they gave us something we know, creeping, it still doesn't mean that you're just gonna sell. You need to get an opportunity if you're gonna sell. Okay, so let's go back to what they actually gave us. Okay, let's go back. So I'm taking away this creeping line, because already we know that we had a creeping trend. Okay, it's fine, we can still keep it here. I will use something else. Look at this. So the session has started, right? The session has started. Okay, once the session starts, what do? We try to find a chart pattern. Already I've said 90% of my executions are based on triangles. Okay, so we try to find, do we have a pattern? They just come down. Okay, now they are just doing something we don't understand. How do you identify a chart pattern? You try to find areas where they touched many times repeatedly. Okay, you can see this is where they touched. Oh, they came and touched it again. Oh, they came and touched it again. They came and touched it again. Oh, they came and touched it again. They came and touched it again. So you can see, let's just remove this for now. Okay, I believe you got the main idea, right? Yes, you got the main idea, right? So this is what we're gonna do right now. Okay, we are gonna identify areas where they touched repeatedly. You see, they touched. Some of you are mostly concerned about how perfect the touches are. Guys, this is up to you. Okay, because you can clearly see this is a touch, this is a touch. This is actually supposed to be an area. Hence why we said the evidence candle must be the biggest candle from the last touch here. You see, this is where they touched up. So the candle that breaks out, or the breakout candle, must be the biggest candle. Okay, so guys, we say this because this is just supposed to be an area. So sometimes the touches might confuse you, pins here and there. So when this one becomes the biggest candle at the correct time, it clears a lot of doubts. Okay, it clears a lot of doubts. So let's try to find another area where they touch multiple times. That's how you are gonna identify a chart pattern. For me, I love the bodies. I always try to find points where we have multiple touches from bodies. So if you look at this, we have a body touch, we have a body touch, we have a body touch. Is this difficult? No. You just try to identify points where they've touched multiple times. So if you took any execution on the NAS, you before the actual opportunity was given, then I don't know, if you are following the strategy, you can complain and say this is not working. But sometimes, guys, you complain whereas you haven't actually dug deeper into your understanding and your executions. That's why I say always back test, and then again journal. When you journal, you're gonna know if it's the strategy that's giving you a problem or if it's you who has a problem. Because sometimes most people have a problem, but they don't see the problem. They actually blame the strategy. Okay, so guys, this is important. As you can see, it's not about how perfect the touch is. It's not about how perfect the touches. I mean, it's not about which candle touch. It's just about where do you have multiple touches. Okay, you can see we have multiple touches. Okay, and now look at this. We have a touch here, they came down and touched, yes. We have a touch here, they came down and touched, yes. They came down and touched, yes. Yes, this one took longer because they gave the actual opportunity late, but you could have seen that they are cooking something because they never close below these lines. They never close above this line. Okay, so they kept repeating the touches over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, over and over and over and over again, up to this point here. So what did we say? Okay, now do we have a chart pattern? There's something I have for you, of which I said if you send me an email, I'm going to send you this. This is a checkbox or a tick box. Okay, you don't execute until all these things have been ticked. Okay, first of all, do you have a pattern? Let's go back to Yes, we have a pattern. What kind of pattern? This is a right angle triangle because the hypotenuse above is sloped down and the line below is just straight. Okay, so this is a right angle triangle. So you have a right, the answer is yes. What pattern? This is a right angle triangle, or simply just a triangle. Okay, triangle. Okay, now, is the pattern perfect? I told you, for me, for a pattern to be perfect, at least it must have 3 touches above and 3 touches below. Some of the time, honestly guys, you complain, but if you really look at things, they usually or most of the time give perfect trades. Okay, look at this. I say 3 touches above and 3 touches below. So if you look at this, 1 touch, okay, 1 touch down, 1 touch up. Okay, and then they came down, but let's not count it. But usually I count it because it has gone below half mark. But for this one, let's not count it because we had multiple touches. Okay, so 1 down, they go up 1, they come down 2 down, so we can eliminate this one because they returned on the way. Okay, but usually I'll count it. Okay, so we have 2 down, and from here they go up, so we have 2 down and we have 2 up. Okay, we have eliminated this one. Okay, because they came and returned back. So we have 1 2 3 down. Why? Because they came back down and touched, then they went up and touched. We have 3 down, 3 up already. So yes, this is perfect because we have 3 up and down at least. Okay, pattern time. How long did it take to build the pattern? This is important because it tells you how much you can target. I told you this took roughly 229 minutes, which simply means this is more, roughly 3 hours, right? Yes. So this is more than 1 hour. It's above 1 hour. So if it's above 1 hour, it's safe to target 100 pips. That's what I always tell you guys. Okay, so this one took above 1 hour. Let's just say above 1 hour, because if it's above 1 hour, we can target 100. Okay, so you see, we are filling in the gaps here. Okay, and you are remaining patient. So did we have an evidence candle? Okay, they broke out a little bit, but this is roughly not a breakout. I'll just try to zoom in this a little bit. You see, this is not a breakout, but then they gave a big candle. If you compare this candle with all these candles, I told you it must be the biggest candle from the last leg. That is from here, okay, to where it broke out. So this is a big candle. It shows a shift. Okay, you are no longer doubting the breakout. It shows that this is a breakout. So did we get our evidence candle? Yes, we did. Okay, yes, we did. And I know some of you might say, but it didn't break out from the inside. Yes, they broke out with a small candle. So we wait to see if the breakout is a real breakout or not. And then we got the biggest candle, which means yes, we have an evidence candle. Okay, yes, we have an evidence candle. Don't forget, we say it at the right time. Okay, which is highly important. Okay, so okay, I'll go back to the charts. Yes, we got an evidence candle. Therefore, I will go back to this check mark. We got an evidence candle, right? Yes. What time? You see? Important. Why? Because we're not just taking any breakout. We are waiting for a breakout at the right time. Okay? And I told you, I'm willing to take it from 20 past to 22. But I love them when they happen during the golden times, as close as possible to the half-hour mark, or as close as possible to the o'clock mark. Although I'm willing to take them from 50 to 10 past, but I love them when they happen more along the golden times. So let's go back to the charts to try to see if this meets our criteria. You see, this broke as behind in 2 hours, 7 time. Yes, look at this, guys. This candle happened, look down here, this candle happened exactly at 4 past. Where does 4 past fall? Where does 4 past fall? It falls in the golden times. Wow. I told you, most of the time they are going to give you the executions at the right time. Okay, this falls within the golden time. Is this met? Yes. So all the criteria were met. Maximum stop from 25, from 15 to 25, safest 25. Okay, that's why I said from 15 to 25. We don't want to have a 1 pip stop because that's actually not trading. Okay, so this happened at the right time. So we enter maximum stops are 25. Okay, and they are the safest. I know most of you will just put 15 because I said 15 to 25, but the safest one are 25. So let's calculate 25. We enter here on the close of this candle, or when there is roughly 1 second left. Let's see where 25 is. So you can see 25 is just on, okay, just on the, in the middle of the week, on the middle of this week. So this is where 25 is. Okay, this is where 25 pip is. 25 pip. So honestly, this pattern gave you nothing. They gave you pins. I told you wait for the candles to close because most of the time they will give you pins. So if you took this pin, it's on you. Okay, it's your impatience. We talked about that. So what do? I told you guys. Now, if they correct, that's not a threat. It's an opportunity. Okay, this is okay. Let's put it like this. Okay, this is an opportunity. Look at what they did. They retested, which is another opportunity for us, right? And then immediately after retesting, what did they do? They gave another mini pattern. Okay, so we add again the moment they surpass this point here, because this is your first entry. Actually, the first entry, if you entered on the close, your first entry will be somewhere here. So the moment you just set an alert, the moment they surpass and the alert rings, you add another position. And now because you are in another position, what do? You trail your stops. Okay, you trail your initial stops. Okay, this is what 25 is still here. Okay, but because they have retested, it's now safe to bring your stops to the recent swing high. You understand this because this is a recent swing high. It's now safe to actually bring your stops here. So if you see here, the alert didn't really sound, but this candle here, you see it broke below. So your alert would have been or should have been triggered here, and you take another opportunity. And because of the time it took, beyond an hour, it's safe to target 100. Okay, 100. Okay, so let's look at how many they went. Where was your 100? 100 was just here. Okay, first move. Okay, this is your 100. You see, this is your 100. You got it. Okay, I thought they went to the low, but this is your 100. Okay, I know people always say some 1 minute is so like the 1 minute is choppy. But again, the same people will be saying indices are explosive. So they are scared of indices, but again, they're scared of the 1 minute. But guys, take what works well for you. So you see, let's look here. First, we had an idea. So even when they are breaking out to the downside, already you have an idea. Okay, you already have an idea. Because you don't want to counter trend something like the trends, because this kind of trends, guys, I put them all in your playbook. Okay, I've put them all in your playbook. It's in the description, and most of you already have it. I told you, master these things. When they happen, they are gonna pay you so well. Okay, they might not happen every day because they don't happen every day, the trends, but this setup happens almost every day. 4 or 3 times a week, you're gonna get a perfect setup. Okay, and I'm looking at them at the same time, waiting to take the most cleanest one. Okay, so guys, you see all these things are here in front of you. You have these things. Okay, it's just a matter of being patient. Okay, so you had an idea, the checkbox was satisfied because this happened at 04 minutes past golden time. Yes, they just delayed the time at which they move prices, but there was no news, so it happened at the perfect times. All criteria met. Guys, it can't get better than this. Okay, if you're new, hit the subscription button because you don't want to miss. Okay, I am not gonna keep on repeating these things. I have to move forward to scaling in how to optimize your profits. Okay, so I'm just repeating this because I understand that most of you are still learning. So guys, you had all the things you needed for these kind of executions. The trends you have. Guys, these things have been working for years and years and years, and they are still gonna keep on working for years and years and years. They might not give them every day. I have a lot of trends here, guys. I have a lot of trends in this playbook. Just make sure you master these trends. I have explosive trends. This one is something you don't want to counter trend because it will blow your account. So I have a lot of trends, even the patterns, everything has been summarized and you have it. Just master all these things, because when they happen, they are going to give you what? They are going to give you the simplest. Even here, I repeated this. These trades are usually very easy to spot and capitalize on. So guys, you have all you need. I really appreciate you. Have a blessed day. Thank you.